Hi, Rita Zamora here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how dental practices are handling social media for their practice. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can keep up with all of the awesome tips and insight that I share here to help you keep growing your practice with social media. So a common question I hear is, how are dental practices, whether they're a general dentistry practice or a specialty practice, managing social media? So there's three different ways. The first method is they have someone on their team who has the time, the skill set, and the interest to manage social media. Really important, of course, that they have the time available. We know practices are really busy these days with all the new protocols that have come into place. And if they don't have the time to manage social media, then obviously that's going to be an issue. The next point is skill set. Sometimes people have someone who's very interested in handling social media for their practice, but they may not quite have the skills that you need to manage social media. We hear from some team members that say, I'm really familiar with Facebook, but not so much with Instagram, or they may not know how to use some of the new options and features that are rolling out every day. I mean, it practically takes a village to manage social media these days with all the new changes. There are options for someone who doesn't have the right skills that it takes to manage social media. There's training, there's one-on-one consulting, and all sorts of different options to help to get them on board if that's an issue for you. And then that other component is interest. And that may seem like common sense, but I often will hear from office managers or team members that say, you know, I've been delegated or been voted, or sometimes just told that you need to handle social media for your practice, and they might be interested in social media on a personal level, but not necessarily on a professional level. They may not necessarily want to handle your social media for your practice. So it's really important that if you have assigned someone to manage social media for your practice, that they have an interest in it, and hopefully they love it. If you're listening to this program or watching it and saying, that's me, I love doing social media for my practice, then high five to you, because it is a very dynamic situation with social media. It continues to change all the time, and so I give you a high five. If you're a practice that doesn't necessarily have someone in your practice or on your team that has the time, skill set, or interest, and you say, we know we need to outsource our social media, then that might be a great option for you. A couple of things you want to keep in mind if you are going to outsource or delegate your social media outside of your practice is to know that you still need to participate at some level by providing pictures, video snippets, and current happenings. What's going on with your practice? What are your goals? And make sure that you're keeping in touch with your provider who's handling social media for you so that they can make sure that your content is unique and highly personalized and that it really represents your brand well. I also want to make sure that you know that you should always approve any content before it's posted on your behalf. That's a best practice. It's very easy for a company or organization who's handling social media for dental practices to put that into place. So make sure that you have that opportunity to say, we'd like some revisions, or we're not quite sure this really represents us the way we want to be represented, and you get the last word on whether or not that content is approved and good to go. Now, maybe you're in the middle. I'd like to call this third method of handling social media for your practice a hybrid model. And this is something we're hearing a lot more about today than we used to in the past, because sometimes dental practices or specialists have a perfect person on their team to manage social media, but they say, you know, we need some help with content ideas. We've been managing social media for a while, or we're really busy with other things in our practice, and we feel like we need some ideas on what we can post that's going to engage our patients, that's going to motivate the patients to click the like button or to leave a comment for us. And that's really important because we train Facebook and Instagram based on the interaction and engagement that we're getting. So if nobody's clicking the like button, nobody's clicking on your links, no one's commenting on your content, we're sort of telling Facebook and Instagram that we're not very interesting. And that doesn't bode very well for our visibility. Essentially, what Facebook and Instagram would then do is say, well, no one's really interested in their content, so we're not really going to share their content with many people. So it definitely is beneficial for you to be sharing content that's not only highly personalized, but that's also interesting for your patients or prospective patients. So a hybrid type of social media management program, what does that look like? Well, you can check out our program, Connect 90, at connect90.com. We created the program specifically for these reasons. We hear dental practices saying also, we're posting on social media often spontaneously whenever we have a good photo opportunity or it's someone's birthday, but we're not really thinking ahead. And it's impossible to be strategic if you don't have a plan in place. So the only way to be strategic is to plan ahead. And one of those ways to plan ahead is by using a content calendar. Now, over the years, I've been interviewing different practices, whether it's through webinars or through in-person events or through my day-to-day interactions with practices. And I'll ask them if they're using a content calendar or a planner. And oftentimes I'll hear they're not using a content calendar or any sort of a planning tool. And that's usually the case. It's only about 30% of practices that are really using a content calendar. So there's lots of room for improvement out there. And one of the things that we felt was most important for practices to have in place is a content calendar and a scheduling tool. So that's a part of our Connect 90 program as well. It gives you the opportunity to think ahead and say, how do we want to be perceived on social media? And you'll be able to keep up with exactly how you can really dive deep into some of these different content components in a future video. But think about how you want to be perceived on social media, and most importantly, what do you want to be known for? So sometimes dentists will come to us and say, we want to be doing more dental implants, or an oral surgeon will say, we want to be doing more wisdom tooth removals, or someone will say, we want to be doing more clear aligner therapy like OrthoFX. And I recently had a doctor that came to me and said, we want to be doing more of these specific procedures, but we're not really sure how social media is helping to support us in that way. And one of the ways a content calendar can help you with that is by looking ahead and saying, okay, we can see on our content calendar that we're going to be posting about these specific topics throughout the month. And it can really help you to stay organized and really help to get everything out of your head and into an organized system that's not only going to be more effective for you from a strategic standpoint, but also from an accountability standpoint. So if you've delegated your social media to a team member, but you feel like it's sort of a stop and start type of situation, it's not really consistent, having an organized system in place, a program, can also allow you to delegate more effectively and help you to hold your team members accountable. So think about a hybrid program. The other benefit with a hybrid program is that you're going to get ongoing support. So we have a private group with our program where we share curated content. There's a lot of good information out there available to the public, but there's also sometimes misinformation or information that doesn't necessarily apply to dental practices and to specialty practices. So be sure to check out our connect90.com if you think a hybrid program is right for you. If you're managing social media internally, you might need a little bit of assistance. I hope that you're finding some great tips and insight through our interviews that we're providing here for you on my channel. And certainly if you are in need of outsourcing, we are more than happy to help you with that as well. I like to make it easy for you. If you visit our website at connect90.com, you'll find a link to book an appointment with me online. You'll visit with me personally. I'll look forward to talking with you. Or you can also visit my website at ritazamora.com. So look me up. Let me know how you're doing. If you're not sure where you fall into any of these categories, I'll be sure to answer your questions, and I'm happy to help you. And for those of you that are doing an awesome job with your social media already, I give you a high five, and I look forward to hearing from you. Any questions that you have, please keep up and keep in touch, and we'll talk to you soon.